Hey, time for some deep spit with Apex Sapien. We're going to teach you how not to blow your 20s. See, one of the biggest problems I see with young guys is just the waste of their 20s, just astronomical waste. And it's not that you can't recover from your 20s, but once you put yourself in such a bad deficit in your 20s, it's very difficult to start to build momentum because you're starting from like base zero. And then there's the whole ego and self-esteem thing because now you feel like you're a loser going into your 30s and you don't want to be known as the loser 30-year-old because that is a tough, brutal reality because then you realize I only have a decade to get it right by 40. And see, one of the things that's beautiful about your 20s is you could be the lovable loser 20 because you're 20. Nobody gives a shit about you. Nobody really cares about you as a man until about 33, 34, and then they look at you like, what have you done? Then you got to really answer like, what have you done in your 30s? That's a really big question. So in order to prevent you from getting to that what have you done in your 30s question, here's some easy 3 ways to make sure you don't blow your 20s. Now, my stance on 20 is you need to have a nice balance of, say, 40% fun, 60% getting shit done. And the reason you need to have that fun in your 20s is because you don't want to be the guy trying to have fun in your late 30s and 40s. Those guys look very sad and pathetic. So you want to get a lot of that fun stuff out of your system and realize how kind of dumb it is when you're a young and dumb guy as opposed to being 34-year-old in the club trying to party with 20-year-olds because then you kind of look ridiculous. Not to say that it's bad to be partying at 30, but you don't want to make that a lifestyle to be 30 and 40 in the club. It's not a good look. You want to be doing bigger things. You want to be helping people out. You want to kind of rise above that low level vibration stuff. But you can have all that low level vibration stuff in your 20s because what else are you doing? You're 20. You don't have a fucking family. You don't have anything going on. You're 20 years old. You got all the time in the world. And you're broke. So it's beautiful. So rule one, how to not waste your 20s. Bro, you need to train and you need to play a lot of sports. Like this is a necessity. Because what training and playing sports does for you as a man is it teaches you how to be around dudes. A lot of guys I see, they have no recollection of how to be around guys. Like they don't, I could tell who played recess and who was just hanging around, sitting around playing Pokemon cards during recess. Not that there was a problem with Pokemon cards, but if you spent your whole entire time in your fucking teens sitting down just on Game Boy or on your phone in your 20s and into your teens and you get into 20s and you don't know how to play maybe soccer, basketball, you can't play pickup, you can't play a little bit of baseball, flag football, all that kind of stuff, you're going to have a tough time interacting with dudes. And especially even worse if you don't train. Like the sports thing, I can understand. Maybe you're just not gifted athletically. I'm an athlete, so it's just in my genetic inheritance to want to go out and play ball sports, no homo, or go play kickboxing, go fight, wrestle, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. It's just in me. I like to compete. You need to learn how to, first of all, get your body in condition to be able to compete, and then you got to learn how to compete. Because your competitive nature is what's going to drive you deep into your 30s and 40s. Because as your body begins to wear down and you can't compete in that same fashion like you used to, you still want to have that nature of competing, even in business, even with women, even with like your own self mastery. Building that competitive nature, that competitive drive is essential to becoming a top flight dude. Because all type flight dudes have something in common, which is they have a natural competitive spirit. They want to beat you. And it's not even that it's anything bad. It's just like that's what we do as dudes. We're naturally competitive. We want to be able to see who's the best and whatever the hell it is. Whether it be drinking beer, whether it be playing chess, whether it be playing piano, whether it be going picking up girls or shooting the hoops. Whatever we do as men, we just like to compete. It's just the nature of our instincts. So you need to unlock that instinct. You need to train to make sure your body's in the condition to be able to compete. And then you need to be able to play some sports, play around, and do some things so you have a competitive edge and competitive nature. Because that, trust me, that is the real game changer when you get to your 30s and 40s. You can tell who likes to compete based off of when they get older. Do they still have that fire? And I love when I see older guys that still got that fire in them. Because that's really what life is about. Just having that fire, that competitive nature. So get that into you. Number 2, there's nothing more tragic than a 30-year-old man with no skills. It is tragic. There's nothing sadder to see somebody who's older and out their 20s and they don't have any skills besides just basic labor. And that's a sad thing because as a man, you're only going to go as far as your skill set allows you. If you have no skills, then you're not going anywhere in life. And nobody has any pity for a man who has not learned any skills. You know why? Because they're looking at you like, dude, you had decades. What were you doing? I was chasing the hoes, man. And that's what most guys are doing. So don't be such a panty chaser. Take some time to learn a skill. Even if you take an hour a day, man, just an hour a day to go learn some high income skill, whether it be like teeth and mountain, whether it be copywriting, whatever the hell you choose to be, Learn a high income skill, cybersecurity. There's so many different skills out there that are such high income skills. You either go out there and look at a trend of what can you possibly do and put your mind to it for the next 90 days. And whatever turns out, if you like it, you stick with it. If you don't, recycle, find a new thing, and then go for that thing for another 90 days. And that's how you should try to recycle your skills. Every 90 days, especially in your 20s, you should be trying to pick up something new and trying to grasp it, see if it fits for you. Because remember, you're 20. You got time. You got more time than you can imagine. 90 days is 3 months. 3 months. You get 4 of those. So you're telling me, say you're 20, you're going to 25. That's 4 skills you can learn in 5 years. That's 20 possible skills you could possibly pick up that one might be good for you. That might be the one that you want. So if we're talking about a 1 out of 20 chance of you finding something, your chances are you're going to find something that you can be profitable and good at. And then once you learn that skill, then you need to learn how to market. Because marketing is now the next level of taking your skill to the next level. Once you learn how to market your skill, then you have to learn how to sell your skill. And these are all natural progressions. So first step is you got to learn how to be good at something. Once you learn how to be good at something, then you learn how to put it out to the world, test to get people to want to come and see if they can use your service. And then once you get to the point where people are trying to come to use your service, now it's out to the ability to learn how to sell it. Negotiation. Understand, a man can negotiate from zero. You don't have to have capital to negotiate. If you have a skill that's worth the leverage that it provides for the particular user, that will make you rich. So learn your skill, learn how to sell it, learn how to market it. You do those 3 things, you'll never have to worry about a dollar in your life again. Promise you that one. Promise you that one. And last, and not least, you need to talk to as many people as possible about as many things as possible. See, when you're in your 20s, you're in the information gathering stage. Your goal is to take in as much information from as much various sources as possible so you can learn what not to do, what to avoid, what not to avoid, what to go towards, what to do long term, short term. You need to be taking in information because you don't know anything. One of the things I get annoyed about when I'm watching YouTube is when I'm hearing 20-year-olds give advice to other 20-year-olds. And I'm looking at these guys like, what are you guys talking about? You're 20. How you gonna tell another 20-year-old what to do? Or how are you gonna teach another 20-year-old to negotiate? And what? You're 20. You don't know anything. Go talk to 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old guys. Talk to guys who lived life a little bit longer that understand the progression of life. Even if they're losers, you're gonna say, okay, well, I just don't make that choice. If I keep that mindset, I'm gonna end up like him. So maybe if I don't end up like him, I'll avoid his choices. But this idea that you got all this figured out at 20 and you can just figure it out on your own, and you don't need to take any information from anybody else, loser mentality, loser skill set. You're going to acquire loser human skills. One of the saddest things that I've noticed as an older gentleman, as I enter my late 30s or enter my late 40s, is that when I find people who can't talk to people, like people who just don't have the ability to have social interaction skills. One of your top skills as a man, as a human being, as a man, is the ability to be able to speak to anybody in a room and feel comfortable and be able to take in information, be interesting, and want them to come back and speak with you. If you can do that as a human being, if you have the ability to go into a room, talk, listen, absorb, take in information, you're going to be successful. It's inevitable because people love people who are good at listening. Most people want to be listened to. So if you sit there and give them listening ear, take in information and listen for the right things and ask the right questions and just get pleasant feedback, you're golden. That's your golden ticket to life. See, life is a giant dialogue game. It's a giant text-based game. And the only way that you can be able to acquire information on what you should do and how you can move in life is by taking in information. And if you take in that information, you'll be able to negotiate. And if you're able to negotiate, you're able to sell. If you're able to sell, you make money. And if you make money, you can go help other people in the world because now you have resources. And that's how you don't waste your 20s. So if you don't want to waste your 20, 3 things: play, train, learn a skill, market, learn how to sell your stuff, and talk to me as people possible, as many different things as possible, to acquire as much information as possible so you can then be useful and understand that life is about information. The more information you have, the better your life's going to be because you'll be more informed about the choices that you make in life. So you won't be walking blind into everything. You have a better outcome because you know all the inputs of the information. And that's how you don't waste your 20s. If you want more information, please hit up apesapien.com, booking consultation. I said we get you some coaching, some training, more info coming out into the world because I want to see you be successful because your success is my success and my success is your success because we're all one big giant thing called humanity.